Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so glad you're here. This YouTube channel is everything about coercive control. I really hope to continue to educate and give us the vernacular to use coercive control as the term that really highlights oppression of all people, all individuals and groups of people. I see coercive control as on the micro level in intimate relationships. It can be domestic abuse. It can certainly be child abuse. It's sexual abuse, it's sex trafficking, it's all of these ways that we harm individuals in intimate relationships, but it also happens in the mesosystem. It happens within agencies, child protective services. It can happen certainly in family court. It often does in criminal court. These are the ways the criminal justice system oppresses groups of people. And I see it as the macro, as government and policies that are not aligned with protecting our most vulnerable. How is it that we have policies that don't take into account that individuals have rights, freedom of choice, and that systems, the huge systems, should not be oppressing groups of people? I see it as the foundation of all isms, classism, genderism, certainly sexism. And again, the harms that are inflicted on individuals or groups of people. Why is it that certain governments, certain policies are in place that want to take over, that want to exert power and control over others? These people that are doing this abuse are all coercive controllers. They have no regard for humanity. And this happens in the intimate relationships. It happens on the micro level behind closed doors. These people also are known as narcissistic abusers. So I think it's just really important that we begin to recognize not just who these people are, but what are they doing? They are attempting to coerce and control people in an effort to get people to do what they want, in an effort to gain in some way, financially or otherwise, and certainly to weaponize, and that's my area of focus, right? To weaponize the children in these family systems, in these intimate examples of coercive control, are weaponized to harm the adult victim. Dr. Evan Stark states they are secondary victims, not because they're not relevant, not because they're not important, but because they are actually just an object to be used to harm the adult victim. Our court systems, that meso system, they don't recognize this. They don't see the harms inflicted. And I had a client say to me that her attorney was saying this is a typical divorce. And I said very clearly, this is not a typical divorce. Very often, actually, almost every single time, when there's a custody dispute going on, we have to assume that there's one person exerting power and control over another person. This is just par for the course. If I can't hold on to you in that relationship when you leave post separation, I'm going to exert more control over you. That's exactly what I'm going to do in an attempt to make you feel, first of all, more vulnerable, more intimidated by me. But second of all, in my attempt as an abuser to get back some of that control, what's the best way to control you? It's to use the children. Right? It's to really know what matters most to you. And it is often, of course, the children. We expect that. So these are not typical divorces. We really need to elevate the conversation. These are divorces where there is a coercive controller. There is one person exerting power and control over another. That doesn't mean that victims always behave in the best way. When we are trapped over and over again by an abusive person, when so much is taken away from us, so much agency, our ability to have voice, when we maybe have our children turned against us or we're financially decimated, that's a trap. We call it entrapment. Intimate terrorism is what Biderman called it when he was researching this totalitarianism in communist regimes. The reality is it's intimate terrorism and it's a trap. And in that entrapment, I am going to fight back. That's what victims often do. And they will behave sometimes non-characteristic of themselves in an attempt to try to find some equilibrium. And so these abusers, they love that. They revel in the reaction. And what happens in these court systems is that when victims show up in this dysregulated state, all of a sudden it feels like it's an equal playing party. All of a sudden, well, she's unstable and he's unstable. No, she's unstable. We'll say she in this case. She's unstable because he has continually trapped her. He is harming her over and over again, and the court system isn't acknowledging it. So these are really problematic issues. They're endemic to family court systems. They are endemic to society, the way that we treat women, the misogynistic views that we have for women. And so, in general, I call coercive control, and so does Dr. Evan Stark and Dr. Lisa Fontes, and all the world's leading experts certainly talk about this as a gender depression, not because it only happens to women, because it is about one gender exerting power and control over another. Of course, it can happen in non-heterosexual relationships. Of course, it can. And so, even with people who don't identify along the binary, there can be coercion and control. It's when a person is exerting power and control over us, and that in and of itself is a stripping away of our autonomy and really, really harmful. We need to begin to recognize it for what it is. So, let me know your thoughts, and I hope you have a great day.